Good day, good morning, good evening, wherever you're dialing in from. Very happy to be here again. This is season 5 at the BFG Accelerator Programs. I'm very happy to welcome anyone who's interested, all the founders that tuned in. So today it's mainly an introduction to the programs. I have a few very interesting announcements to make, but today should also be a ground to really answer any questions. If you're interested and you have open questions and you're hesitant, very happy to answer any questions that you might have anytime. So let me jump right into one of the most recent developments. So now we have four programs. We have the Superstars, which is obviously our incubator. We focus on super early stage founders. You don't have to have an idea. You don't have to have a team to apply there. You can simply apply with yourself and with your skill sets. We focus on exactly people who don't have anything yet, because the purpose of that program is to start from scratch with nothing, and we will build a business case. And then very interestingly, we have three more programs: the Adrenaline program, the Algorand Accelerator, and the Concordium Accelerator. Really, I think what we have to note here is that the Adrenaline, so all three programs have one thing in common. They focus on later stage post-MVP products and teams. So we want to see, when you apply for that program, have in mind that you have to have a product, you have to have sort of an audience that you want to pitch to us, and that program will specifically focus on growth and acceleration. And so we have two partners this time around, Algorand and Concordium, both reputable players in the Web3 space. And so, and obviously the purpose there is that you have a goal to build on top of their ecosystem. So if you're building a product that is helpful, useful to the Algorand ecosystem, then that will be the perfect program to start off with. If you are undecisive, you want to stay open, then the Adrenaline program would be suitable. So what are the details? I think it's safe to say that we are providing financial support, right? We do give you a financial package of around 70 to 140K. It really depends how much money you need and what stage you're in. So BFG is generally really flexible with that amount. So you will be pitching to us with an amount, and we will make that happen. We have invested in over 22 companies. So our portfolio is quite, it's sizable, right? We're not super beginners, but we're also not super super diversified. We have a sizable amount. We focus on equity only. We have a global focus. So wherever you are, Pakistan, Germany, Asia, any country is really welcome to us. We are international first, and we work remote first. We don't have a physical meetup. Actually, we have one once a year, but there's no mandatory physical attendance to the program. What are the focus areas? Actually quite diversified, but we do have preferences. So if you're in the DeFi space, analytics, feel free to check out actually the website. The website shows more comprehensive focus areas and use cases that we want to see when you apply. So I won't say too much to that, but generally speaking, if you show the performance and attraction, then we would still look at your business case. Quite excited to present also the team, right? I would say it's a combination between people that have established reputations in the TradFi space. So Thomas is, for example, very well-established regulatory figure in Liechtenstein. Ulrich Spindler is he's a seasoned entrepreneur, had a very successful exit. Wolfgang is in the VC space for over 30 years, and Christopher is also a seasoned entrepreneur with a deep data analytics and data privacy expertise. And then on the operational executive side, we have myself, and we have Sarah, Zhongchan, so all the other people that will be, that will have the mission to support our portfolio companies in any matters, be it fundraise, be it business development, idea validation, growth hacks, marketing support. So we do have all these resources at your disposal. And I think this is the most exciting thing, actually. We hired a bunch of advisors to support you as well, right? So we compensate them. There's no fee that you have to cover. We compensate the advisors. They have skin in the game. They have an interest to support you. So if you are a high performer and you do well in our accelerator programs, then they will be at your disposal free of charge. They will make sure that you get the support that you need. And those are people, from the legal space, from the growth space, from marketing specialists to VCs, angel investors. So any contact you really can think of, you will find there. What is our track record? So we get a lot of applications, actually, and we get a lot of applications. We take in typically around 20 to 30 teams per program, right? So this time I'm expecting a lot of people to join our programs. Again, we have a huge investor network to really facilitate that you get the best fundraise support. And we have a lot of partnerships, tech partnerships mainly, that support you with credits for softwares. Think of Notion, Miro, Airtable. So these things that gives you credit and, just save money and get started quickly. I'm also very proud to share that a lot of our portfolio companies have gotten grants from ecosystems. They've gotten grants, they won hackathons, also follow-on investments, of course. So do feel free to check out, our website to learn more about that. So quite interestingly also, let's talk about the programs itself. So I think one of the main visions that we have when we build our accelerator programs is really we want to help you accelerate and grow your business case to a spot where you can confidently say that there might be demand or not. So when you go through our programs, you will learn how to grow. You will learn how to validate your idea. You will possibly sign deals right away, in the first 2 to 4 weeks, to really show that there's traction and demand. And this is what you can imagine. So really 3 checkpoints. You will be intensely ideating whatever business case you have, create customer profiles. Then we will go on growth, really accelerate your community, find people to follow you. And then the checkpoint 3 is obviously the funding pitch. So you will be pitching in front of our investment committee, and we will jointly decide on the deal terms and how we're going to support you financially and what else we can provide. Generally, the process is very straightforward. You will apply, we will interview you, the best teams, and then you will be, in case it's successful, you will be immediately onboarded. We will then have the program. It's going to be up to, the program's actually running 6 to 12 weeks, depending on which program you want to be, which program you want to apply for. And then you have the chance to get up to 140K financial support. Yeah, again, our founders are super spread. We invested in Indian startups, Indian founders. We have invested in UK founders, German founders, founders from the African continent. So quite diverse. And finally, again, let me emphasize, we have 4 programs now. We have the super early stage incubator, and then we have 3 accelerators, 2 with different partners, 1 agnostic. So very happy to jump into any questions that you have. And Melissa, you will tell me wherever the questions come from, right?
Yeah, that's right. So we do have some questions on the chat. Sending it over right now.
Perfect. Oh, and by the way, feel free to, connect with me on LinkedIn or send me an email in case you want to ask me directly. All right. Let's see. First question. Are DIDs, verifiable credentials and utility NFTs among your priorities for season 5? Generally, yes. I think DIDs, verifiable credentials, NFTs, that's definitely a space that is coming. I think the most challenging part is adoption. So when you pitch this idea, or you have a company in this space, when you apply, make sure that you show us traction. What have you done to validate that there's a market? Have you gotten positive responses? Do you maybe have a client, an LOI signed on your services? That will be interesting. And if you have it, honestly, then we would definitely look deeper into it. Is it a priority? Yes, definitely, we would look into it. And DIDs, verifiable credentials, that would actually fit very well to Concordium because they specialize in that segment as well, even though they also have a real world asset focus these days. Is AI and blockchain among season 5 priorities? Yes, definitely. I think AI is going to be huge, right? But still, it's crowded. There's a lot of competition. So if the use case isn't too, I would say, mainstream, and there's some uniqueness in there, then definitely that will be interesting for sure. Okay, there's another question. How much support can we expect during the program? For example, in creating smart contracts, website marketing, pitch deck? Is it feedback only or is it more? That's actually very good question. So there's one thing we fundamentally believe in, which is save time for our founders. So we have templates on how to create websites, how to create marketing, how to create pitch decks, but we won't create it for you. So we believe in saving time, but we cannot take work from you. So we will give you all the templates to these materials, but you have to execute on it, because if you don't, then you have to wear that hat, and you have to also be in the driver's seat, execute fast, and convey the message that you want to tell to your audience. With regards to smart contracts, in the best case, we believe that a founder team consists of a CEO level type of person and a CTO type of person. So we would expect that the CTO takes care of early tech developments if it's not too sophisticated. And if it is sophisticated, then there's a potential for us to help there as well. Can you share about how each of the programs in this season is different? So actually, good question. I would say the main difference is the following. The Adrenaline program is quite agnostic. You can apply with any idea to that program as long as it's Web3 related and fits our sort of investment thesis, which you can find on the website. So do feel free to check out the requirements, our focus areas. If it's not within the focus areas, you have to sort of compensate with being super hot. If you deliver performance and traction, we will definitely look at it. And then we have the Algorand and Concordium program. So each of them have their own focus areas. So for example, Concordium these days looking for liquidity providers, staking infrastructure, so quite deep tech. Whereas Algorand is also looking at real world assets. So, and all that again is on the website. And how are they different? I think so. First of all, you have the thematic focus. But at the same time, we will, during the program, invite people, specialists from these ecosystems to join our calls and give workshops on specific topics, such as, how can you integrate your business case into the ecosystem? How can the ecosystem maybe give you direct support? So these are things that you only get if you join our accelerator. So it will be a lot of tailored support, so to say. Okay, so if I'm working full time, can I still join the program? Do we need to quit our jobs to participate? That also depends. I mean, I think the general rule is before an investor makes an investment, they would want to see, typically, they would want to see that the founder is all in because you're taking other people's money. So, in order to take the money, you need to show that you're super focused on exactly that, right? So we generally it is expected that you quit, leave everything behind and focus all in your startup. That is generally expected. So, but do you need to quit immediately? No, you don't. So you can apply even though you're in a full-time position if you can manage the workload, because we would still want, of course, expect you to perform as somebody who's not working full-time somewhere. And if you can't deliver that and you can show that you can do everything at the same time, then for sure you can do it. Just by the time we invest, we would expect you to quit before we make the investment. Do you have a preference for accepting solo founders or a team? Yes, we do have a preference in investing in teams of at least two co-founders and not more than four. There are exceptions. So obviously, we have done solo founder team investments. We have done investments in teams of four. So there are definitely exceptions. But generally, the rule proves that typically the best size is two people, one CEO type of person who does the sales and marketing growth, and one person that does tech development, basically the CTO. But again, timing is the real question. When do you have to have a team? You have to have a team before we make the investment. So when you are before that, when you're in the program and you're solo, that is totally fine. As long as you find a co-founder during the program, that will be highly preferable. If you can't, it's still not entirely a no-go because you can convince us otherwise. You can convince us, well, you're going to onboard a co-founder later. So, and if we believe that, and definitely we can still make the investment. Okay, so one more question. What is the estimated amount of commitment, like in hour numbers of hours per week? How often will we be meeting during the program? We do have two fixed meetings. They are just basically weeklies. Every Monday we will meet and every Thursday. And Monday, sort of workshops, we will, just explain the current priorities. We'll talk about your progress. We'll give feedback to each, into crucial cases. So it's really a time to catch up and talk about priorities. And in the Thursday meetings, we'll basically talk about um, individual team performances. So it's a time to really share experiences, to learn from each other, to spot commonalities, common problems, and talk about how each founder has, overcome that problem and to solve that. So how many hours is required? That's so definitely at least 3 hours. I think 1.5 Mondays, 1.5 Thursdays, and then on top of that, we have like individual calls every now and then. They could happen Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So it really depends when the speaker has time, but we will invite external experts on certain topics to speak, and then you can definitely also participate there. But um, fortunately, we will also record every session so that you can rewatch in case you missed it. All right. What happens with founders that are accepted to join the program but do not get an investment? Nothing really. So if you ran through the program, you pitched the final time, and we decide, okay, we're not going to provide you with funding. It's not the end of the world. You just basically leave the program. You graduate and then you could you continue working on it. You can find investment somewhere else. So it's really up to you. There's nothing really that will hit you after we're not providing you with funding. by when do we get to know if we are accepted in the program? So we plan to consolidate soon. So I think the deadline for the Superstars program is next week. For the Accelerator programs, you have a bit more time. I think the deadline is around mid-March, March 10th, actually. So you still have a bit of time to prepare your application. What is the equity structure for the investment like? That's actually really flexible, also depending on your stage. But we do have standard terms. So we do invest 70K for super early stage teams and up to 140,000 euros to, I would say, post MVP, pre-revenue stage startups. And there, I think there are fixed valuations. We will share that with you once you're admitted to the program. But typically, we take around 3 to 10%, depending on your stage. On what criteria do you select startups for funding? So the criteria are very individual. I think to summarize, number one is, and there's no specific order. Number one is, do we believe in the founder? It's simple as that. This early on, we definitely expect that the product and the idea will change. So when we make an decision on whether we provide funding, it's mainly whether we believe in the founder. So it's a sort of person investment. Then we look at the segment, so market potential. And then we look at the past performance. So the programs run for 6 to 12 weeks. And then we will get to know you. And in that time, we will assess whether there's a fit. And that will be taken into consideration when we make the decision. Okay, what is the valuation of startups that you are looking at to join the accelerator? So, to give you a range, anything from 1 million to 4 million is sort of in the range. If you're above if you're above 4 million, I would expect that there's definitely a lot of traction already. Like you have paying clients, you have a certain amount of MRR, you have or if you're a deep tech company, you have like a lot of followers. You're not live yet. Maybe the product's not ready, but you developed a wait list of, I don't know, 5,000 people in the retail space, or maybe 20 signed B2B clients. So if you have that, then definitely your valuation is going to be 4 million and above. And in that case, you are honestly too far ahead to join our accelerator. You should be raising VC money, right? And I think one way to summarize our programs is really we want to make you VC ready, right? So if you're there already, then there's no point in joining the program, and you would probably be better. The time would be better spent just raising money from VCs. If I apply with a team, should each member apply individually, or one application for the team is enough? One application for the team is definitely enough. I think in the form, it's asking for each team member's details, so do fill that out, but you don't need to double submit. All right, let's see if we have more
I think that's
questions.
it for now.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
very
if
good.
there are other questions, yeah, they can participate in the second AMA session.
Okay, perfect. So I suggest if you want to rewatch it again, or you joined late, you can rewatch the recording on YouTube. If you registered, we'll send you the recording as well. And again, if you still have any more questions, feel free to link with me on LinkedIn, and then we can talk there. But thanks for joining in, and hopefully see you soon as an applicant.